idea the amount of ignorant mess we're about to get into right now.
Sit your $5 ass down before I meet you.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Black on Black Cinema. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Micah.
Hey.
And Terrence.
What's up?
All right, guys, we're back. This is episode 164, Luce. This is the 2019 film starring Kelvin Harrison Jr., Octavia Spencer, Naomi Watts, and Tim Roth. It's about a young man who is adopted by two white parents. He's black. He's from war-torn Eritrea. He's adopted by them and raised in the U.S. And while in high school, he's like an A++++ student, and he starts to have some. Yeah, he's valedictorian. He starts to have some issues with his teacher, Octavia Spencer, and things sort of spiral. You can rent this movie. This is obviously a review of Luce. You can rent this movie on Amazon or buy it wherever you can buy films. So check that out before watching this, because we're obviously going to spoil it, because there's some twists and turns in this movie. So we would highly recommend that you watch this movie. We'll start with Micah, because you recommended this, Micah. And by the way, thank you, Jordan, who also recommended this through our movie submission form. You can go to blackonblackcinema.com/submit to leave your suggestions for movies. By the way, please check to see if we've done the movie first before you suggest it. Thanks.
Yeah, I didn't see this movie or anything. I just remember that it came out. And I was like, oh, okay, this looks interesting. Yeah, it wasn't what I thought it would be from the trailer. This is a really good movie. I enjoyed it very much. Luce might be my favorite character in film.
Yeah, wow.
I want to be like him when I grow up.
That is not okay.
The level of duplicitousness that is on display from this character is something I aspire to, and yeah, he's a very interesting character. He's a very interesting character, and we'll get into why I think he's an interesting character later on. Solid performances all around. Tim Roth is in this movie.
Yeah, that's super random.
Yeah, he just came out of nowhere. I was like, all right.
And Octavia Spencer. I mean, look, Octavia Spencer is she's amazing in everything, right? She I have yet to see a film that she can do wrong in my eyes for. So
Didn't you see Ma?
I did.
I have yet to see it.
Wow, was wild. I'll say that.
But yeah, I recommend this movie. 3.5, 4 out of 5.
Okay, Terrence.
Yeah, I didn't even see the trailer for this movie. I didn't know what it was, just at all.
You just went in completely blank.
Yeah, I had no clue. Yes, and I guess not seeing the trailer or whatever. Just going in completely blind, I was pleasantly surprised. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, Luce is he's a son of a bitch, ain't he?
Yeah,
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, this kid, like, he's a great character. Wow. Octavia Spencer was, of course, she's always great. It's just a solid movie. Like, I didn't have any issues with it, except for sometimes I wanted to like throat punch Luce, because he was always on the verge of crying. It looked like he was always on the verge of crying when he was talking to people, and it really pissed me off. I'm like,
it was to like provoke sympathy.
Yeah, his eyes were always wet.
It's all part of the game.
His eyes are always wet,
and that shit was making me mad. I'm like, yo, stop being a bitch. But no, no, it's like, I don't really have a lot more to say. It was just a really good movie, and it touched on topics that, like you said before the show, Octavia Spencer was 100% correct. To an extent, yeah. But
no, don't get me wrong, because there's a part later on in the movie where they kind of have that back and forth close to the end.
Like, yeah, I really like that scene.
and it's like you can understand both perspectives.
Yeah, 100%. You can, like, they don't. It's gray. Like they don't tell you to go to either side on with their arguments, but it's good. Like, it's a 3.5 for me as well.
Okay. For me, I actually agree with you guys. I'm right at the same score line as well. what I found interesting is, some people may know this, some people may not, but a little like inside baseball, we record 2 episodes at a time, right? Which is why we do, like, if you look, generally back-to-back episodes, we're wearing the same clothes, right? Yeah, it's not like we're like dirty week to week, like, relax. But what is interesting is we picked a second movie. I won't say what that is.
We won't.
What's the point? There's no point.
Okay.
We're never doing it. How about that? We're just never going to do that.
We would be the last black man in Baltimore to name that movie.
There you go. But what we were expecting, what we were assuming, or at least from my perspective, like a really surprisingly in-depth conversation I thought would generate from that movie versus this movie, which I thought was going to be sort of a down-the-line thriller of sorts. It actually turned out to be the opposite.
Right. Just because again, like I said upstairs, just because a movie is different doesn't make it good.
Right.
I'm tired of y'all niggas, God damn. But anyway, continue.
Yeah. We're never doing that movie. It just wouldn't generate a good enough conversation, honestly. But this movie, what I liked about this movie is it was surprising, right? Like you didn't see the trailer at all, and I did, and I thought the trailer. I was like, "Yo, you're giving away the whole movie," but it was a complete, or not a complete, but largely a misdirect, right? It really was. Where this movie, I think, had a lot more to say and a lot more nuance, like you said, like those sort of gray moments between those two characters than I ever thought that it would. I'll be honest. I thought the acting was actually pretty damn good. Not great, but pretty damn good from all the major players. I found Kelvin Harrison Jr.'s performance really good and utterly creepy and disturbing to me. Like anytime he was having any like conflict with people and like one-on-one scenes, I was like, "Yo, he's just gonna stab one of these people?" Like he made me really uncomfortable too. Right, like, he made me mad uncomfortable the whole time.
He's like a fucking automaton.
Yeah, I'm just like, let's go. It had a lot of it felt in a lot of ways. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this movie. It felt in a lot of ways like we need to talk about Kevin. Like, if you've ever seen that movie,
I've still never seen it.
You should, and I think you'll see a lot of comparisons, a lot of similarities. But I thought it was really good. I thought where it ended up going was interesting. It's not where I thought it would end up, which was good. I thought it was going to end up in a much different direction. Octavia Spencer was great. I thought she was really good. Naomi Watts, I thought was really good. She had a moment where I wanted to scream because I'm like, "Yo, what are you doing? You were the worst parent." Tim Roth, in parts is just me as a dad. Because he was like, "No, this is what I did." I was like, "That sounds like bullshit. Like, it just sounds like bullshit what you're telling me. Stop lying to me." And I liked Tim Roth, and it was good to see him in this. Like, and it was just like kind of random. I was like, "What the fuck is Tim Roth doing in this movie?" So yeah, I really dug it. I just thought it was interesting, and it was an interesting concept, and it also picks up on a topic that we haven't discussed a lot, especially not maybe in our preview episodes, but not in a full episode, which is sort of liberal white guilt, right? That is a big part of his parents.
And it's funny because like Tim Roth had they had that moment in the movie, and I'm like, I see your side as well. Like again, like you can't really side with anybody.
Everybody in the movie has a moment where you're like, "Yeah, that's true," right. And then you go, "Yeah, that's not true. Don't do that." Like everybody has that moment. Like you can understand Naomi Watts' perspective as this white mom, like trying to deal, because we'll get into like, yeah, he's adopted, but there's a little angle to that adoption that is a big fucking deal. And like Tim Roth's character,
it took a toll on Tim Roth's character. I'm like, damn. When he kind of gives the backstory of what happens, I'm like, shit.
Yeah. So I thought it was very good. I think it's kind of a sleeper for this year, and I think that's kind of interesting to see. So, and by the way, this was directed by Julius Ona, who did the Cloverfield Paradox, which is interesting too.
Apparently, that wasn't good.
No, it was not. It was not good. But it's cool because he's a Nigerian-born dude as well.
36.
This is what happens when black people direct movies about black people.
Yeah, they seem to have a very specific perspective. It's interesting.
Yeah, they get it right.
Yeah,
right.
It's not just black people
with
from
a
a
bunch of white folks in the movie as well.
Yeah. Black people can write white people better than fucking direct white people better than white people can direct black people.
Yeah, that's generally true, actually. Yeah, because white culture is
because
everywhere.
we have to fucking
Yeah,
assimilate.
because
we know y'all motherfuckers.
we study you people.
Every
we
day.
have to.
We have to.
Okay.
We're waiting in the shed.
Wait, what?
Never mind.
No, let's continue, guys. Just go ahead. Go on without me. All right. Micah, take it away.
Adopted a little bit of setting up. Adopted from war-torn Eritrea.
Eritrea.
Eritrea. I thought it was Eritrea.
I've always heard. Well, whatever. Doesn't matter.
Over there. Adopted from war-torn over there. Luce Edgar is an all-star high school athlete, an accomplished debater who is adored by other school students and his parents, Peter and Amy Edgar. After a debate, in the beginning of the movie, after a debate, we see Luce talking with his parents. I don't think the nature of this particular debate is worth talking about. It's just showing his skills as an orator. And then on the drive home, we see him talking to his parents about his history teacher, Harriet, played by Octavia Spencer. I was about to say Octavia Butler. That's a different Octavia.
Very.
I don't know who that is.
She's an author.
Yeah. Oh.
And yeah, Luce thinks that his teacher is a bit of a bitch. That's him and his dad's words, not mine.
Yeah.
Look, here's the thing. I don't like, and I feel like it's a very white people thing. I don't like.
Don't curse.
No, that part doesn't necessarily bother me, though it does to an extent.
Yeah, don't curse.
Don't get wild with it. You know what I mean? Like, I had to be like 36 before I cursed in front of my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even then, it's like,
I'm like, you're gonna hit me?
damn it!
No, if I get mad enough, I'll drop an F-bomb. My mom's like, "I relax." It's calm.
Yeah, our relationships are vastly different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But one of the things I don't like is I don't like when parents allow their kids to talk about other adults as if the kid is on that level. Like you don't talk about your teacher and be like, "Yeah, she's a bitch." No, don't do that.
Yeah.
'Cause she's a person of authority. Like, she's a person of authority. So, like, you got to show her some respect. You don't have to be like, "Oh, I love her." You can just be like, "I don't like this person" or something like that. But, like, I don't know. That felt like mad disrespectful to me for a parent to basically reinforce that. I didn't like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck Tim Roth. What are you doing?
Yeah. Stop trying to be the cool dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not his pal. You're not his buddy. You're not his friend. You're his father.
See, that's a deep cut. You got to listen to the show.
At school, we see that Harriet is a bit stern as she is disciplining one of.
She's a real bitch. I'm an adult. I ain't in high school.
She's a bit stern, and as we see her discipline one of Luce's friends, Deshaun, in class. Apparently, they were watching a video of that one woman who climbed the flagpole to rip down the Confederate flag off of like City Hall grounds or some shit.
Yeah, it was like one of the state houses in the South. Yeah, or what I call as a patriot.
Yeah, because the white girl in the class was like, but it's against the law. Just like, yeah, well, and Octavia Butler was like, yeah, but like
Spencer.
Octavia Spencer was like, yeah, but like segregation was a law at one point. Well, that's different. That's different. Things have changed now. I'm a white person and I don't know how to argue.
Yeah, right, exactly. It doesn't fit my bullshit argument right now. So let me just change.
Michael Vick is the same as George Zimmerman. Like, no, he's not. No, he's not.
Don't do
Shut
that.
the fuck up. Jesus Christ. We cut to yo, y'all are wrong, yo. We cut to Amy getting a call at work from Harriet, and she's asking to meet her at school. They go there, and she goes there, and Amy is shown a paper from Harriet that Luce wrote for an assignment in which she was asked to write from the perspective of a historical figure. Harriet shows concern that Luce chose Frantz Fanon, a political revolutionary who argued that colonialism can be overcome through violence.
I mean,
I mean, it's yes.
Isn't everything overcome through violence?
I mean,
a lot.
Y'all motherfuckers did. Isn't that what we did?
Right.
Technically.
Yeah, but it's different.
Is it?
Because he black.
He black. He a nigga. That's right. I'm sorry.
Like you're not supposed to decolonize. Like that's not how we would like
But
it
like
to be
she's
done.
black, so she should have been like.
Yeah, I feel like you
She's a
can't really promote that to considering Luce's background. Like, you know
Yeah,
what?
so
That's the whole thing. Well, he's from war-torn Eritrea, and they adopted him, and he was like a child.
he was a
soldier.
child soldier.
He
They
was
adopted
10.
him at like
seven.
Seven.
He was 7, and they adopted him.
Yo,
Yeah. So
no.
He was in Beast of No Nation, for fuck's sake.
it was a little.
Like,
Look,
one of them-
I'm saying this as a dad who has adopted a daughter. If she was like, yo, I was a child soldier for 7 years. No.
It was like, nope.
No.
Walk off.
No,
Like,
yeah.
look, I'm sure some
I'd have
white
to lock.
family
I'd have to lock my bedroom door. I'd be terrified. Yo, I'm sorry. Like, look, no, that's wrong to say. Okay, then it's just wrong to say. It's not for me, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you're supposed to say about rap music? You think is bullshit? Like, it's not for me. It's not for me.
Kelvin Harrison Jr., the actor, actually wrote a paper on Franz Fanon as part of the research for the role, and Octavia Spencer, the actor, graded it. That paper is the paper that's in the movie.
Oh wow,
That's interesting. They should have maybe read part of it, because then that just seems like kind of pointless.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did all that work.
Yeah,
all that work for
no,
nothing.
y'all gonna put it in the movie? Like, nah.
It's like, nah.
I mean,
is this it?
yeah, right.
Like the
You can
prophecy.
physically see it. Like, but yo, it's gonna be like 6 days.
Like, right. What the fuck?
Harriet sees this as a red flag since Luce was a child soldier before coming to America, and someone like him writing this could get him in trouble. Harriet also tells Amy that she went through Luce's locker and found a bag full of illegal fireworks. So here we have the argument of, this is the beginning of the nature versus nurture argument, right? Like, are you born inherently with predispositions versus are you molded by your environment to think a certain way? It's both.
Yeah,
and
that's correct.
And I don't know why, like, we live in this society where nothing can be like in the middle. Everything has to be either one way or the other, right?
That's why I'd be interested for people to see this movie
Right.
for that very reason.
In Luce's case, what do you think is? I think it's way more environment in everything that he does. More so than, because black people aren't inherently violent or inherently vindictive. I think it is more like the nature part comes with, like, you know, Luce probably really likes fried chicken, right? He probably really likes it because he's black.
That's an epigenetic argument.
Exactly.
Like, but he's from Eritrea. Do they eat a lot of fried chicken in Eritrea?
Look, black people eat chicken everywhere. I don't even know if they have chickens in Eritrea, but if they do, they ship it in. Even in war-torn Eritrea, they're like, yo, we got to get chicken together. Everybody's like, all right, that's cool. We'll go back to shooting on Tuesday. The chicken shipment came in. We good.
And then, what are you doing, Harriet, going through people's lockers like that?
Nah, fuck that.
Here's the thing.
Nah, I ain't gonna do it. Fuck that. I don't trust this kid.
Because I'm like, why are you fucking going through niggas' lockers and shit? Because she went through somebody else's locker. Like,
Yeah.
And like, they tell you that halfway through the movie. I'm like, what the fuck does she have against this nigga? But then I'm like, well, niggas be shooting up schools all the time.
Yeah, you can't trust it.
So
Is this paper?
That's why I'm like, okay, I guess, like, if the teachers have a reason to search somebody's locker, it's not necessarily their privacy is, I mean, it's the school property technically.
Is this
there is.
paper enough? Is this paper enough reasonable?
Yeah, I wouldn't go through his
grounds
locker
for
for
suspicion.
the paper.
Yeah,
That's what she did.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, you a cop, yo.
Yeah. Fucking
Vote for Cop Mala. Oh, right, she dropped out.
Mala apologist ass nigga.
A huge fan. Huge fan.
But no, I don't think I would.
Those ADOS niggas was in our YouTube comments hard. They were so excited. Shut up. You're all jerks. I deleted your comments. Fuck out of here.
Yeah, I don't think I would have gone through his locker. Because I don't like people going through my shit. But
Nah,
then
fuck
again,
I'm out of, look. they're literally like this kid. I mean, in fairness, she didn't go through his locker under the auspices. Like, context matters, right? Like, she didn't go in his locker under the auspices like, I'm gonna get him. She went through his locker, like, just like she told the mom. Because if somebody else found this and saw this, saw this paper that you wrote, they might assume something about you. And because I know you, like, she's because that's why she gave the shit to the mom. Like, just get this shit the fuck out of here.
But like,
because she could have dined him out to the principal.
In school now? I mean,
they definitely do. They definitely do. Yeah.
But it ain't usually the black kid that shoots up the school. Yeah.
No, that's not a thing.
Yeah, that don't happen. Like, if you're going to shoot somebody, you're going to shoot somebody in particular.
Yes. That is a thing about school shootings that is not talked about enough. Yo, it's just not our thing.
Yeah.
We don't get mad and shoot up 20 kids.
We don't kill people that didn't do anything.
It's like, Johnny took my money for my weed money. I'm going to shoot him.
Right. As mad at the world as we have every right to be.
We don't do that.
We are not the ones that shoot up 30-something kids.
Right.
It's not our thing. Now, we're like, you have it coming. This guy right here.
The issue, like when we start shooting out in the fucking streets and stray bullets start hitting niggas, that's when it becomes.
I didn't mean to do it, but
collateral damage.
You're right. Like, you're not going into a school just spraying it down with an AK-47. It's not ours. But also, we can't get access to those guns because black. They're not selling a nigga 18 an AK-47 nowhere.
Right.
No, I need it for deer hunting. 911.
Where you hunting deer?
Arrest Luce, he's right there. Yeah, fuck out of here. So, yeah, look, I understand her perspective because she is, I mean, if I'm going by what she said, she is concerned about his life being ruined because somebody sees this and goes on for it. Now, granted, she has the paper. I don't know who else would see it, but I understand her concern.
Would you, I get what you're, try to put yourself in the shoes of someone who is not a black person.
If I'm like a white teacher and I see this paper?
If you are, put yourself in Amy's shoes. You as a parent, and you find out that your daughter wrote this paper. Your daughter wrote some sort of misandric paper.
Good girl. I'd be like, you've learned a lot.
It's like I want to blow up the boys' locker room or whatever.
Just make sure you're clear before you hit the button.
As a parent,
hurt yourself out there.
As a parent, would you be okay with Octavia Spencer's excuse for going through his locker?
100%. I would be protective of my daughter, of course, but 100% I would understand it.
Okay.
Yeah, I would. Like, if she was like writing a fucking manifesto, I'd be like, I want to know about that because you don't know like the nature versus nurture thing, right?
Keep in mind the paper, right? Like,
sure. What's the
assignment?
Right. If it was like, who would you like to kill? The assignment, I'd be like, all right, this scene, like I would be on obviously the side of my kid. Now, if there's a pattern of things, that's a different conversation.
Right. If there's a pattern, all right, sure. Yeah. If all of your papers are about fucking violent revolution,
I'm like,
I would say, down. Wow, is it the 4th of July? But yeah, if there's a pattern, but the first time I would be kind of like, what are you doing,
Right. Okay, that's a fair point. I agree with that.
Cut to Luce stopping a fight between two of his friends, Corey and Kenny. I think that's the white guy's name. The black kid's name is Corey. I think the white kid's name is Kenny. The fight was about a drunken party. More on that later. Amy shows Peter the paper and the fireworks, and they both get unsettled, but decide not to mention anything to Luce.
How do you guys feel about that?
With the parents not showing them the paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have been like, what's up with this? Like, I would have asked them. I'm not gonna hide the fucking paper.
Do you feel like in terms of parenting, do you feel like it is you, for lack of a better term, against the child? Like the parents have to have a united front and they have to play this like weird game that they don't want to show all their hands too quickly to their children, or are you 100% transparency between the child and the parents? Look, I'm all about communication, right? Yeah. Like if you're not communicating is how any relationship
Guys.
Yeah, like it is. You need to talk to people, right? But at the same time, my wife and I will come up with like game plans. We have to make sure that we are on the same page.
I believe in the united
We
front.
are a united front, not against the child, but
No, against the child.
because we can't have the child manipulate one or the other.
Yeah, but that's against the child. Sometimes you have to be.
Right.
Because look, sometimes your kid is spewing a bunch of bullshit to you, and the both of you have to be like, no. But there's a moment, I think it's in this scene where, or no, it's not in this scene, it's a later scene where like Tim Roth says something, and then Luce turns to his mom, he's like, but you believe me? And she's like, we'll see. I'm like, what the fuck?
Right.
I'm like, bitch, if you don't get on board, like, what are you doing? But it is as what was it, Bernie Mac used to say, like a united front. You have to have a united front as parents.
Right.
You have to, because kids are really smart.
Right.
They will play you against each other.
Yeah.
You can't go out.
Star Wars trick in a book,
Right. Hey, Dad, can I go out? No. And then you turn around and go ask your mom, and she's like, I guess. Boom. Well, guess what? You broke
And
them.
then you just fucking you just start an argument with your parents.
Right.
And you're just out partying.
Right.
Yeah. No, the default answer is,
nope.
you talk to your mom? What'd she say? All right, well, there you go.
No, the default answer is get your mother in here and we would decide together. Fuck
Oh,
that,
no. No, I'm going to give you the rope. Because if you said, oh, mom said I could go, and she ain't say you can go, oh, you in double trouble.
You
Because now
like,
you're trying to play me against my wife? How dare
like,
you?
Like Robin Harris in House Party, just coming after kid in his fucking drawers and shit.
Yeah, I'm going to show the fuck up. Going to that part, I'm going to come out and be embarrassing your ass. Oh, please. You better get it together. Yeah. Shit. Nah, yo, united front. Absolutely. And it's so funny because, like, you guys know my wife. I don't see my wife as a pushover. It's like, no, that's not really her thing. No. So, nope. Don't try to play
What
me.
did your mom say? Damn it. Just walk out.
Yeah, you're like, yeah.
All right.
How do you know?
Yeah.
Nigga, because I was a kid for fucking 20 years. What are you talking about? All your bullshit ass tricks.
We cut to
Can I stop you 1 second? So one of the things I had a problem with before it was kind of revealed as to kind of why it made sense was it never felt like they were his parents. Like, you know, you watch a movie and it's just like, wow, like this acting is really good. Like you really kind of believe that this kid is these adults' parents. And this, I never believed it. I was like, no, because they were just like, are you okay, buddy? And he's just like, shut the fuck up, mom. And they're like, all right, it's cool. All right, whatever you want to do.
but that's
I just
liberal white
assumed he
guilt,
was
right?
adopted.
Right. Well, I mean, obviously he's adopted, but
And then at the same time, like, I didn't know how long they've had him.
that was the thing. It's because when that's revealed that they adopted him when he was 7, you realize like there's a different and that's the major part of this story, like Tim Roth's character story.
Because he
wanted a baby.
Hit her first name.
Right. No. Not your buddy. I'm not your pal. Fuck.
Yeah, I was
Don't
like,
ever
okay.
call me by my first name, yo. No. Fuck. No. Nigga, I'm almost 40 years old. I would never call my mother by her first name. That is insane. I don't even think it would work. Like, my body would just be like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing?
No, you can't form your lips to say the shit.
Yeah, I'd be like, mom.
Yeah, that's weird. That would be really fucking bizarre if I walked up to my mother and called her by her first name.
Yeah.
She'd be like, nigga, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like, sorry.
Yeah. You got it.
Like, I don't know where that came from. Is that a
You know
brain
what?
fart?
I'm wild.
Like, I'm gonna go to my room.
Nigga, you don't even live here anymore. No, you're right. That's crazy. Yeah, I
don't call my in-laws by their first name. Do you call your in-laws by their first name?
Yes.
I don't.
Yeah, I do.
No.
You don't?
Do you call them
What do
dad?
you call them?
No, I call
Mr.
them.
Mrs.
I call them Mrs. Last
Sounds
name.
like-
Yeah.
What are you going to call them in reference to your son, though? Are you going to call them like grandma, grandpa, that kind of thing?
Grandma.
Yeah.
Or Gigi and Paps. Those are the names that they want to be called. Yeah.
Paps?
Gigi and Paps.
Yeah, what's your dad? What's your son to call him? That's even worse.
Uh-huh.
What's your nigga? You heard me. What is your dad? What's your son to call him?
Paps.
Oh, no. I thought we were talking about your in-laws.
Oh no, my in-laws, they just call them grandma and grandpa.
Oh, I thought.
I was about to say, what the fuck?
Your dad changed it.
My
He
dad
changed
wants
it.
to be referred to as Paps, and my mother wants to be referred to as Gigi.
But
Ain't a G in her goddamn name. All 4 names. Ain't a G in it.
no, hold on a second. Because Paps is not bad. That's not what it was originally, though.
No, it was Pappy. It was Pappy. It ain't Pappy.
I'm not calling you. Yeah, it was 2015. Like, I'm not calling you Pappy.
When he told me that shit,
1937.
when he told me that shit, I was like, nigga, that sounds like a slavery name. Like, yo, no.
Hey, Pappy.
Like,
Don't call. I wouldn't even want to be called that.
no.
I'm like, yo, it's 2025. Stop.
Oh, my father's old, man.
Yeah, but
He old as shit.
He ain't that old. Damn.
I'm born in 1911. What
Yeah.
the fuck?
Apparently, Micah's dad was a star of Mudbound. Like, what the fuck? Like, God damn.
Wow.
Out there prospecting.
We got some gold. Like, what the fuck?
Hey, if that's what they want to
Like,
be
nigga,
called.
it was
that's what it is.
1965.
Oh,
Knock it off.
Pappy. Paps, I don't like that either.
But it's better. It's 100%
It sounds,
better.
it sounds
It's
like,
like Pap smear, yeah?
right, exactly.
I
It
don't
sounds
like
like, it sounds like Pat Schmidt.
I don't like that at all.
I mean, in fairness, that's also pretty bad.
I would just be like, Pops. Pap?
That's what my
Pappy?
father. That's what my sister calls my father, Pops,
Pops.
because he, and not because of what you think. She calls him Pops because he eats a lot of corn pops.
No.
Yo, that's insane. Yo, your entire family is nuts.
This is favorite cereal. This is
It's not even your entire. It's just your dad. It's just your dad. What?
He likes corn pops.
Okay.
Gotta have my pops there. That's
Holy shit.
Wow. That is certainly an inventive reason why it's a
yeah. I love my family.
Yo, that's fucking hilarious.
They're fucking weird, but I love them too.
Like the most obvious reason that you would call your father Pops isn't.
No, that's stupid. That's stupid. No, it's his cereal
Like,
brand
I
of
eat
choice.
mad corn pops, yo.
All right. I'm
That's
just glad. I'm
fucking
glad he
hilarious.
doesn't like Cocoa Krispies.
Right. Yeah, it could have gone a myriad of ways.
Wow.
Fruity Pebbles. That probably, yeah,
what
like,
the
you
fuck?
know, like, come on.
Wow, that's fucking funny.
Holy shit. Oh my god. That's funny.
Back to the movie. We after dinner we cut to Harriet sitting outside of some sort of mental health facility. No. She was at home talking with her sister, Rose.
Yeah.
The mental health facility thing comes a little later. During dinner with the family, the subject of Harriet is brought up again. Luce accuses her of singling out students to make a point. For instance, one classmate, Stephanie Kim, was alleged to have been sexually abused at a party while drunk, and Harriet often uses Stephanie as an example of a victimized woman. Don't do that. In Luce's case, he is Harriet's shining example of a star black student, which is not how he wants to be seen, arguing that he doesn't want to be the symbol of tokenism. Later on, Luce finds the hidden paper and the fireworks that his mom, Amy, hid from them. Now, how bad of a teacher is Harriet?
So, I don't like the idea of using like this kid like, oh, women have to stand up, if you know that like sort of background story. That feels wrong. Especially because the young girl, I mean, she's young. She's still in high school, right? It's not like it's not a grown woman who's possibly has an ability to sort of deal with that issue, but she's a young girl, and it's like there's so much that comes along with being sexually assaulted and having rumors about you in school and things like that, even if you're an adult, let alone as a child, and how you deal with that, right? Like, so I don't think that's fair. The idea of sort of using people as social tokens, so to speak, is a fascinating situation presented in this movie. I don't know that I see it as necessarily wrong but I certainly can understand why people would.
Are you supposed to do that as a teacher? Like, are you supposed to be like?
Teacher, no.
Are you supposed to be like, hey, look at Trong Vong. He got the highest grades. You all should be more like him when it comes to taking tests and paying attention and all that shit, right? Like that doesn't. I'm not an educator. That doesn't seem like the type of thing that an educator is supposed to do. It's not Lord of the Flies.
They generally use that in movies, like in the military. So. Like the troops all hate one guy,
right?
Yeah,
Bro, you don't want to single one kid out because kids are fucking assholes.
Yeah.
Like, and they'll turn on him. You little smart motherfucker. Like, kind of shit like that. And kids are stupid if you're not the top. Like,
we all agreed on a gentleman's seat,
right?
Right. So no, don't do that. Especially in a situation like this. Like, don't single her out.
Yeah, it seems wrong.
Nah, yeah, that's fucked up.
And again, this goes to your earlier point, Terrence, that is a part of her dynamic that I'm like, that is completely wrong, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I think we can all agree it's completely wrong. But then she does things, and I'm like, those are completely correct things to do.
And keep in mind, and this is hindsight. This is Luce talking,
right? And I think you shouldn't always take what little black Dr. Doom says as being, sort of canon, because that motherfucker's got plans.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Like, what the fuck? You're a goddamn genius.
Yeah.
The next day, we see Harriet pick up Rose from a mental facility on Glebe Road. I know where that's at.
Wait, where does this take place?
Northern Virginia.
Oh, okay.
That all makes sense.
Luce goes to debate practice, and while at home, Amy rehides the fireworks. At debate
She did a
practice.
horrible job of hiding in the first place.
You'll never see it. You'll never find that glass
In the cabinet.
Right, she put it in the
With a Tupperware.
in the cupboard.
Like,
No, nobody ever gets Tupperware anymore.
you made him do the dishes to put away. You're an idiot. Like, what the fuck?
And then just walked out. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, shit. At debate practice, Luce calls out Harriet about students' privacy under the guise of, practicing.
Yeah.
He basically is like, they get into a discussion about privacy and, whether or not, like, cops have the right to search your vehicle and shit like that. And one person was like, well, it's under suspicion. It was like, all right, well, what if it's, I don't know, a black history teacher named Harriet? Does she have the right to do it?
This example seems mad familiar. Her name is Bury it, if you will.
We find out from one of...
By the way, that scene is incredibly uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, I'm just waiting for a third party character. I'm like, can another character jump into this? This is making me really uncomfortable. Like, either fight or just stop talking. Like, because every time she would say something, he's like, but what about this? Bitch, I know what you did. Like, you know what I mean? Like, everything had like this undercurrent of, I know what you did. And then she's like, bitch, I know what you did, kind of thing. And they're both talking, but there's a completely different conversation happening.
I love those scenes.
No, I know. Like, it's a very
So
good. It's a very good scene. But I'm like, and when that other teacher is like, do you actually have a question? I was like, oh, thank God, thank you, white woman. Break the tension. That's what you need. That's what you guys are good for. Getting in the way of black people talking. Please interject your opinions. It's making me more comfortable.
We find out from
And the principal is in this scene. He's in the
This guy's fucking worthless. This guy is a terrible, terrible principal. He can stand by his teachers like nothing.
I mean, well, Luce is a star student.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, he's his thoroughbred.
Yeah.
Nigga.
I like to think that every word in here is incredibly deliberate.
Oh,
right?
no. Watch Octavia Spencer's face when he said that. She was just like, what the fuck? And she's like, look, that's what I'm trying to tell you, Luce. These white people out here wilding, But that's the funny thing is Luce does not catch that, right?
No.
He doesn't respond to that.
shit,
but he has he has a weird hyper response to black people in one way or the other to him, which is also an interesting thing about him, right? Because, later on he's referred to as like, oh, you're like the Barack Obama kind of thing, right? Which is an obvious comparison. Because he kind of fucking looks like the dude, like, to be honest. But he hyper responds to like black characters where he like goes overboard to defend them on things or overboard to like push back on them. And it's like, again, the world is not black or white, no pun intended. So it's like there's a little bit
kid,
right? Of course. So that's how he sees it.
And he was a child soldier for 7 years. So like, you can't forget that. Well, we don't really. Well, when did they? I think that's later on when they have the when Amy and what's the father's name?
Tim Roth.
Peter.
Tim Roth.
Tim.
Peter have the conversation about what happened, when they adopted him.
I think that's a little later. We found out from one of Luce's friends that Harriet is the reason that his friend Deshaun was kicked off the running team,
which I didn't know until they said this.
Like
they didn't even. That just came out of the blue. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, they didn't mention it.
I thought I missed something, so I watched it again.
She was searching his locker. Right. And found weed.
Like, what was she searching his locker for?
Maybe he wrote a paper on Bob Marley.
Weed is awesome.
This is a bit of a problem, guys.
Yeah. And when I found out that she searched his locker, I'm like, all right, this bitch is just searching lockers. Like, what did he do for that? Like, there was no backstory. She just
right. And I think it would have been far more powerful if she searched his locker and there was like a legitimate reason, right, to kind of shore up her legitimacy in
for searching Luce's locker, right?
But they didn't give
okay, now you
like did he just come in and was like, yo,
nosy.
like you stink of weed?
Yeah, I could see that.
But maybe they didn't do it because they want you to be on Luce's side at this point of the film,
or somewhere
where you're kind of like,
it's still up in the air,
or you're kind of like, all right, now this chick is like, what the fuck,
right?
Because there's a number of times where you're watching a film and you're like, who is in the right here? Like you don't quite know.
It keeps flip flopping. I'm like.
Yeah.
For the majority of it, I kind of was on Luce's side, but at the same time, I'm like, but this little nigga, something ain't right about this. He shows emotion, but it seems fake.
It's manipulative.
Like, it's super fake. I'm like, I don't trust you.
Here's a pro tip. If the characters, if you got two characters, one is named Harriet, the other is named Luce. If the one that sounds closer to Lucifer is there, you don't trust that one. You don't trust Lucifer.
That's interesting. Well, I had my thought as to how the movie was, like, the big reveal was going to be. I'll talk about it later because I'm just like watching things. And I'm like, the whole time I'm like my dog, like just like turning my head, like listening. I'm like, okay, this is all very weird. But it didn't turn out, and I was actually slightly disappointed because it could have been a really awesome ending.
She called the cops on that dude. She called the cops on him for finding weed. Yo.
Right, that's fucked up.
not the guy who had the M80s in his locker. No, she called the cops on this one nigga for having weed. Yo,
don't call the cops for anybody with weed. That's stupid. He's got a plant in his bag. Oh God.
Luce meets with Harriet.
Go ahead.
Luce meets with Harriet in her classroom over the issue of his paper. He acknowledges his wording, but says he just did what the assignment was asked, dismissing any true belief in violence. He then makes a comment about fireworks, and Harriet interprets this as a threat, and she notifies Peter. She was like, Luce was like, I was just doing the assignment. I don't really know what was wrong. He's like, nigga, you know what the fuck was wrong. I don't know. By the way, what's your favorite holiday?
All right.
Mine is Independence Day because I like blowing shit up.
Yeah, I was like,
this nigga's crazy.
I'd have pulled a crowbar right out of my desk. Come here for a second.
That's when at that point, I'm like,
I love it. Yo.
Okay,
I love
this
it.
little nigga's wild.
Like, it took me about 30 minutes to just completely flip. Like, nope. Villain.
He's even wearing green. I love it. I love this character. Yo.
He's very good. He's very good.
And she was like, "Yo, nope. You know what you said. You know what this is. Like, let's stop all the fucking pretense. Ain't no fucking white people around.
Right.
Let's go down. You ain't fucking talking to me like that, nigga."
Well, yeah. By the way, that would have been hilarious. Like, she just got black as shit. Like, oh shit. Well, what's really funny is, you know, it's like when we did was it Candyman? Like, the subtitle for that movie could be like "White Women Mind Your Business." This one should be "Black people have bullshit radar and white people don't." Like, black people just like, no, none of this makes sense. Not buying it. The white people are like, I mean, I mean, he's just a child soldier. No big deal. It's all fine. You know, Octavia Spencer was like, absolutely fucking not. No. That is the one thing black people have over white people, 100%. We have expert level bullshit detectors.
Yeah, I mean, white people have bullshit detectors. Like Tim Roth has a bullshit detector.
That shit, but he conked out halfway through the film.
it doesn't take much to get around it. You know what I mean?
No, he was just like, "I'm your black son." He was like, "Yeah, all right." White guilt. White guilt is actually the anti-bullshit detector for white people. It just fucks their radar all the way. Shit's just going all over the place. No, like, look at the election. Black people voting. Black women's bullshit detector is higher than black men's, but like overall, black people we're working at like 98%. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, white people is like 54%. They don't know nothing. Or excuse me, exactly 53%. Exactly 53%. Oh, maybe it'll be good. I guess.
Fucking moron.
It'll be fun.
Yeah. Well, let's change it up. See what happens.
Throw a wrench in the proceedings.
Oh no, he's putting tax on wine.
I paid $6 for grapes the other day. Yeah,
Nigga, what?
I wanted some grapes.
Apparently.
Yeah, and then the old white man at the register was like, it's because of those tariffs that Trump put on. Yo, he was like, you know what? I used to live in New York back in the 70s,
$6,
and he never told the truth. And I'm like, you know what? I want to shake your hand.
Right.
I'm not going to.
I'm not gonna, because you're like 80.
Yeah, you've been touching money all day. Like,
But it was really funny. He's like, that dude's a fucking con man. I was like, wow.
The Muslim guy who runs like our cafe in my building, he was just like, "No, that guy's a fucking idiot." And I was just like,
I agree.
Yeah, you're right.
100%.
Yo, I work in a government building, yo. He just don't even care. Like, he's not a government employee. He was like, fuck that guy.
Fuck that man.
He gonna come here? I'll fight him.
No.
Like, don't worry.
Yeah, you work at a agency that actually uses facts.
Yeah, no.
You don't want to step foot in there. Fucking
no.
like stepping into a church if he was like the devil.
Yeah, it's no. If you work in any sort of scientific anything, everyone's like, not a fan. It's just not a fan. I think I've been there for 15 years. I've only met 2 conservatives. 2.
Wow.
2. No, that's a lie. One. That's
how many
one.
libertarians have you been around?
What's the difference? What's the difference? Just a bunch of stupid conservatives who like weed? What's the difference? It's an ideology for 13-year-olds. Not gonna. Anyway.
Peter and Amy have a brief argument about how to handle this situation of Luce
threatening
the teacher.
Was it a threat? No,
yes, it was.
Like fireworks. Like 4th of July.
Yeah,
no,
blow your ass up.
He did the Dennis Reynolds thing where it's like, no, I'm not going to do it, but it's all about the implication.
Yeah,
it's the implication of rape. That'll make her want to have sex with me because she doesn't want to get raped.
On a boat alone on the water. So that's one of the funniest scenes, which is weird to say if you don't know the context of that. It's one of the funniest scenes from It's Always Sunny.
Yeah, they have an argument about how to handle this, right? Before confronting Luce about the comments that he made, plus the fireworks being in his locker. He explains that members of the track team all share lockers with one another, so the fireworks do not belong to him. Peter thinks Luce is fucking bullshitting.
Look, this is a scene I refer to as Jay is Tim Roth, because I'm not buying.
Like,
Yeah.
And
y'all
Amy
Sherlock
is literally not sure what to believe.
See, bullshit radar detector is at
Gotta call it
53%.
bullshit. I'm like, I'm not sharing my locker with nobody.
No, I don't trust
outta
it.
here.
I don't trust it.
I don't trust you. Well, I don't trust what the fuck you're gonna put in my shit.
Nope.
Knowing
Now,
that fucking teachers are just doing random searches, apparently.
Yeah.
now these this couple, I'm trying to give a little more context, a little more benefit of the doubt to this couple, right? I don't think they could have children biologically, right?
That's not true.
Which is
I
why
don't
they
think
went
that's
for the
not true.
adoption route. I think she was the issue, right?
No, because Tim Roth's character said our friends were wondering why we didn't have kids biologically.
Yeah.
No, I think they could. I think they chose. I think she wanted to
her
adopt.
career chose, like, I think she chose career over.
I
having children.
chose.
Then later on, she kind of.
I saw that questioning, like, oh, I wonder why they couldn't have it biologically, as to why why
Maybe.
we didn't, as to we couldn't. That's why we didn't.
Oh, maybe.
I took it like how Jay took it. I thought she just didn't want to go through the bullshit that you go through with having
And
a
it's
child.
a lot of bullshit.
Exactly.
You know?
She's like, you know
it's
what?
a lot
Adoption.
of fucking bullshit.
Right.
Yeah, that was definitely a better choice to fucking adopt a child soldier. That was fucking great.
Right.
I'd rather get an episiotomy
Right, because
than a
when-
7-year-old child soldier. What are you out of your fucking mind?
Yeah, that's a crazy.
Yeah, I
choice.
get it. You're liberal. Cool. Me too. Fuck that.
That's a crazy fucking choice because he gets into like what they went through, and what,
Yeah,
and
like
that's why I was
years
kinda-
of-
That's why I thought, like, why would you go
deprogramming.
that? Why would you do that over having a child?
Well, and that's what he says. Like, he didn't think he basically got mad at her later and was like, yeah, everything doesn't have to be a political statement. And I think, and that's white liberalism, right?
Right.
Like that's really touching on that of like, you could just adopt, if you want to adopt a child from Africa, like that's okay. You don't have to go to the most extreme
Like, yo,
situation.
You went far left.
Dude, I am an extremely liberal person.
But are you?
Not that liberal, dude. Not that liberal, man. Like, there are certain things like, it's just, look, when we had considered adoption years ago, and when we did, you know, one of the things is like a lot of people consider overseas adoption because it's a little bit easier, honestly, right? You just kind of fucking go there and you're like, hey, and there's like, here's a kid. Like, they don't really give a fuck, right?
Angelina Jolie method, just yank
Yeah,
up a whole
you
bunch
just-
of brown kids.
Yeah. Just pick them up, right? Like, oh, I'm just, I'm trying to build a coalition, like whatever. You making a basketball team. So it's a little bit easier a lot of places. But one of the things we were afraid of, and it's a really fair thing to be afraid of, is a lot of those kids are incredibly neglected, right? Or they're abused in these like big foster homes, or they're wards of the state and things like that. And you don't know how those kids are treated, and you just have no idea. Where at least in the U.S. there is some semblance of information that you can have, but then in the U.S. the laws are very different. It costs a lot. It costs a lot more. It can be a longer process. Like, there's a lot of things. People just think, oh, you just go and fucking grab a kid. Like, no, it's just not how it works. It's incredibly complicated. Trust me, I know. So it's. I can understand why you would want to maybe do overseas adoption, but again, it's not as easy as people think it is. So. Certainly adopting a child soldier would not be on my list. Sorry. And if you have a problem with me saying that, please point to the child soldier that you've adopted, because I'd love to meet them. Like, it's not a thing, and it's just really hard. And they literally talk about deprogramming this kid.
Yeah.
The years
of therapy and
that
stuff
it
like that. I mean, dude, those kids go through hell on earth. And yes, we reviewed Beasts of No Nation. Like, that is a really difficult life that those kids have dealt with, and that nature versus nurture sort of situation, and taking that kid and then placing them in the U.S. of all places. Mm-hmm. Dude, it's like, it's not even taking them and putting them in a different place in Africa where the culture might have some level of the similarities, right? Like taking them from Eritrea to Nigeria or something like that. It's not going to be exactly the same. Obviously, there are cultural differences, but at least it would be close. The U.S. is nowhere similar to war-torn Eritrea. It's just not. So, yeah, if I was Tim Roth in that situation, like, I want to adopt this kid. Cool. A child soldier from Eritrea. No. Sorry. No, I'm not doing that. That's just too much. This is too much. And, kids, as quiet as it's kept, kids hurt relationships between adults anyway. Just born.
Yeah, they do.
And not the kids as a negative. It's just hard.
Yeah.
Just fucking difficult.
It's very difficult. Like, we know some people who are having trouble with their marriage because of their kids. Because it's an awesome responsibility, and it's not something that, if you're doing it right, you're not taking it lightly. And that's, first couple of years is hard, man.
Yes. I don't really think it gets, I guess it gets easier, but I think it just gets easier in some ways and difficult.
Yeah, it's a different type of strain.
Yeah.
Luce goes for a jog that night and ends up at the school. He later meets up with, I like this scene. He later meets up with his white friend, Kenny, the white guy who was in the argument with Corey.
Yeah.
And Kenny insists that he didn't tell anyone what happened at the party. Luce points out that Kenny's white privilege Luce points out Kenny's white privilege and explains that Corey doesn't have the opportunities like he does. Luce mentions that neither him nor Corey want to end up like their friend Deshaun, who is also black. Kenny asks what he means by that since he's not like Deshaun. Luce points out that, hey, we're both black, both go to the same school, both on the same track team, you know what I mean? And Kenny tells Luce that Deshaun is, quote, black. And Luce is like, what the fuck that mean? And he's like, nah. Kenny's like, nah, but you're Luce. You're not black.
Oh,
you're Luce.
You're not black, you're OJ.
Yeah.
It's basically what he's OJ.
Yeah.
By the way, if you're white and you do that to your quote unquote black friends, you're not a friend.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't invalidate blackness because it's not
the fucking stereotype of blackness.
Right.
That you see on TV.
You cannot, blackness is not one thing. So we have to accept blackness in all forms that it comes in. We may not agree with certain things, but I'm not going to invalidate someone's blackness. That's fucked up. It's fucked up.
That's why I don't call people Toms and shit, man. I'll call you a nigga all day, every day if you acting like a nigga. But I don't throw Tom and Coon and all that shit out there like that, man.
There are Uncle Toms though.
There are, and we will call Paris what he is. But yo, I see people starting to throw that shit out when someone says something that they don't agree with.
Yeah, we've been called Uncle Toms because we didn't like a movie.
Right.
That's
huh?
Nah, yo.
We didn't like
shit.
Belly, so we're a bunch of Uncle Toms. That movie's not really good.
It's not, yo.
I will give Hype Williams credit because he did the movie on a $3 million budget. And, but he picked the wrong people he had to pick the wrong people because he ain't enough fucking money. He did what he wanted to do, and that's fine, but it's not good.
Yeah.
I've seen people call people Toms for siding with a white person.
That's ridiculous.
Over a black person in some regard. And that is not...
I mean, what was the situation?
It wasn't anything like a lot of people call Stephen A. Smith an Uncle Tom. And
he's an asshole. I wouldn't say
he's an asshole. He's a fucking dickhead.
Yeah, he is.
But he's not an Uncle Tom, yo.
Yeah, there was that whole situation with him,
Colin
Kaepernick.
Right.
I don't know what he said, but everybody was like, "What's his name?" Like Max Kellerman, I think.
Yeah.
He's blacker than you.
Don't do that.
Don't fucking do that shit, yo. Don't fucking do that shit. Stephen A. Smith's position on that was that, I'm paraphrasing, that, okay,
he's
Colin
on
Kaepernick.
crack.
Okay, Colin Kaepernick, the weed.
He's such an asshole.
Fucking idiot. It's funny though.
But he was like,
that's why he's still on.
He was like, okay, the NFL, the company that you are going against, that you settled for in your dispute, they're willing to offer you a workout, right, to let people see it. The NFL says your workout is going to be here, and these are the people that are going to see it and come here for the workout.
Right. Then there was a weird contract.
And he was and Colin Kaepernick was like, no, I'm going to work out over here.
Well, there was a contract thing, right? There was some contract that the NFL had asked
that
him
he
to
wanted him to
sign.
sign. I 100% agree don't sign that shit.
Yeah,
because that shit might say
because it was out of step with the normal contract. Apparently,
Right.
I'm not a sports ball person, but apparently that's
right. I 100% agree. Don't sign nothing.
Yeah, I agree.
Don't sign nothing. But at the same time, you could hold the workout where they want you to hold the workout.
Now, was it contingent on that? I don't know.
I don't think anything was contingent on anything.
Okay.
At this point,
I think it was just a bunch of show bullshit anyway. I don't think they wanted to hire him anyway.
Right.
I think it was just like, yeah, go work out. Congratulations. Go fuck yourself.
Right. I don't think they want to hire him, and I don't think he necessarily wants to play in the NFL. He says that. He says that.
I think he does.
He says that shit. I don't think he does. I think he wants to be. I think he wants to be, not necessarily a martyr,
but a political.
But I think his career has kind of trajected him to being a political activist. I think that's where he needs to focus.
I guess
because it's gonna be fucking hard if he does get back in the NFL.
Yeah, who's gonna pick him up?
Right, because that's a whole bunch of other bullshit.
First of all, he's a quarterback.
Right.
So that's gonna be like
it's hard
to start him. He's gonna be like third string.
Right.
I mean, he does. Apparently, he can still play. He can still play better than a lot of these.
He's good, but it's going
players.
to be so much fucking backlash. You know, these white people can't stand that nigga because
they can't
kneel.
Right.
And is he going to stop kneeling?
I wouldn't.
Right. Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
Fucking suck my dick.
All of this is a bunch of pomp and circumstance. It's all this. I forget the saying, like sound and fury signifying nothing, or some bullshit. Right. All of it. And everybody's getting mad and calling each other names and shit. Like, nah, yo. Nobody wants any of this. This is all just a show.
I agree with you. I don't understand. Like, I'm not a sports person, so I don't, except for the Olympics when I get weirdly jingoistic. I don't understand from a black perspective. I don't understand why you would support watching the NFL anyway, because they went out of their way to fuck this guy. They went out of their way to fuck him. And then they settle with him and they pull this shit to fuck him over again. But like, either you're like, okay, well, fuck the NFL. I'm not going to watch it. Right. Okay. So he gets back in the NFL. People are like, well, then I'll watch now.
Right.
You're not going to watch him?
No, but
he ain't going to play.
No. But even if he does.
Right. Even if
it's not about it. Like, it started with him, but at the end of the day, what it became was a symbol of step out of line, nigga, and we'll fucking fire your ass. So him playing, I don't understand. Like, they still believe that.
Right. So are you gonna start? Oh, well, now I can watch it again because he's
back in.
He's back in. Like that, and that's my thing, right? Like they don't stand in their own convictions, right? Like they don't.
I was gonna allow me to just say this quickly. I 100% agree with you. When you say that, this is why I laugh to myself that people think that, look, here's a little politics for you, that people think that if Bernie Sanders wins, he'll just get out there and fight for healthcare and everyone will fight with him. No, they won't.
No, they won't. They can't. You can't. You can't.
You can't stand up to not watching the NFL 2 days a week. But y'all gonna fight for healthcare every week until you get it? No, you're not. You're not.
Right.
You're not going to do shit. I'm really angry. Oh, all right, well, I'm going to go back to that. You're not. Americans don't sustain shit. We don't sustain shit.
Because it's hard.
It's hard.
It's fucking hard. Our ancestors have had to do that shit so that we don't have to. Right. And now we're used to not having to do it. So we don't know. So, right. We're not ready for the real shit.
Yeah. And that's why I don't like the sentiment of like, I'm not my ancestor, so you catch these hands. I'm like, yo, don't denigrate your ancestors because they were stronger than you. They were stronger than you.
At first, I'm like, yeah, but then I really like paid attention to that. I'm like, nah, they were lynching us.
Yeah, right. They were stronger than
they really were. Like they were out walking while they had dogs chasing after them and fucking water sprayed at them and shit like that. Nah, yo.
Imagine.
And I'm sure people could and I'm sure people could make the argument, well, you could see what happened in Ferguson and stuff like that. Yes, that's true. And those people were very strong and they fought. You think everybody is ready for that? There are people who are ready for that.
No, there's a sect of people that will still do that shit.
Yes.
I'm not one of them.
Right. And that is the vast majority of, and that's, by the way, I'm not just talking about black people at that point. I'm talking about Americans at that point. We are not built for that shit. We're just not. We have way too much privilege and things are just given to us and handed to us. We are not built for that shit. Right. We're just not in the modern era. We're not. Now, look, maybe if push comes to shove and it's something super, super duper serious.
I was about to say, if it's something that I'm really, really passionate about,
maybe.
Yeah, possibly, because I'm an obstinate motherfucker.
Right.
But like,
no shit.
Yeah, no shit. Least surprising argument. But But to the Kaepernick thing, it's just like, I don't understand. Like, I see people, they got mad. Like, again, I don't watch football, but like, people got mad at Jay-Z because he signed whatever contract with the NFL. And I'm like, they're like, oh, he's turning his back on Colin Kaepernick. I'm like, nigga, there is an inordinate amount of black players that stood right next to him and let him get fucking destroyed. But you're mad at this rapper?
Right. Who probably convinced the NFL to have the workout?
Right.
Like,
even if it is a bullshit show and like, granted, I agree with you, it's fucking useless. But, yo, there are mad black men standing right next to him who could have, if they all knelt on that same fucking second week that they were like, he needs to be fired. If every black player had fucking knelt in the NFL, guess who ain't getting fired? Colin Kaepernick's not getting fired. Because you're going to do? You're going to fire everybody?
You're going to fire 80% of the NFL?
Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. This ain't baseball. You ain't going to replace every black player with Puerto Ricans next week. Knock it off. Knock it off.
What, you're going to have half offensive linemen, a quarterback, and a tight end, and that's going to be your team?
Right.
What the fuck?
NFL blitz.
Right.
Fucking 7-on-7. Look at that. No.
I mean, that might be interesting.
And I've seen people call Jay-Z a coon and stuff like that.
Again, I don't have to agree with him. I don't know the nature of that contract, whatever, and I'm not protecting him or anything. But I don't know the nature of that contract. But let's say it is what people say it is, right? He was just trying to make money or whatever. Okay, I don't have to agree with him. I don't need to call him a coon or an Uncle Tom.
That's my thing. Like, just stop calling people sellouts and shit like that, yo. Like, it's not. Nah, yo.
Because if put in the same situation, you would do the same thing.
Yeah, 9 times out of 10.
9 times out of 10.
Like Jay-Z's a fucking billionaire, yo.
Who came up from fucking nothing, yo?
He's a billionaire. How do you get to being a billionaire?
You don't do it by being.
You don't do it by being a
nice.
Fucking, yeah, you got to be a fucking asshole, and you got to do shit you probably don't want to do sometimes.
Yeah. I think your point.
It just really bothers me when black people call each other shit like that.
Right.
You can call each other niggas
behind the scenes.
Well, because the thing is
bothersome.
Right, because you don't know all of the shit. Like, you just don't. You see a top line and then you make a huge judgment. But that being said, even if even if somebody said, well, I wouldn't do the same thing Jay-Z would do, that's cool. You're broke, so it doesn't really fucking matter, right? Like, that argument is stupid.
I wouldn't. You can't.
Yeah, right. I wouldn't do what Jeff Bezos did. Oh, really? Okay. You don't have enough money to shine Jeff Bezos' shoes, but okay, right? Your worldviews are wildly different. But even if you said, okay, I wouldn't do that, and even if that is true, right? You could somehow see that in your mind's eye and say, that's not true. There is also the aspect of, you still don't have to denigrate him just because he did something that you don't agree with. Again, would you call all of the black men in the NFL who didn't stand with Colin Kaepernick coons too? Because if you're watching the NFL every week, then you a coon. By the same argument.
Right.
By the same argument. And by the way, that's not me calling it. I'm just using your piss poor logic, because that's the new thing going around these days. I'm using that piss poor argument to push it on you. If you think that Jay-Z's a coon, but you tuning in to see if the fucking Ravens are in first place, then you a coon too. Because you're giving them money and your time. You're doing something even worse. You're giving them your time. Your time. That's even, I don't want to give them the money, but you're giving them your time. Every Sunday, you're sitting there for 4, 5, 7 hours watching these people give each other CTE. But somehow you're better than them. Fuck you. No, you're not. You're doing the same thing. So, like, knock it off. I agree with you. Calling people coons all the time. Like, there are actual Uncle Toms. Who literally will destroy black people and advocate for the destruction of black people for the benefit of white people or other groups. Those people, fine. You want to, and I don't mean like make sure they have more money. I mean literally like, hey, why don't we sell black people to white people and shit like that? Like, those are literal Uncle Toms. Mm-hmm. It's like just making money, like with an NFL contract, it's not the same thing to me. It's just not. Again, especially if you are watching it every week. You're a gigantic hypocrite. Yeah, you can say that. He's a hypocrite. Okay, I'll give you that.
I'll give you that. But goddamn, yo.
So
that's the one thing that just annoys me. Anyway, back to the movie.
Yeah.
Amy.
But that's why you guys watch the show. Like that's, I mean, it's for the side conversations.
Amy goes to a podcast. I don't show me any comments about this part of the conversation, please.
Oh, don't worry, I will.
Amy goes to apologize to Luce. She says that
For what?
she knows it can seem unfair how much people expect of him, and he stops her right there and says that she has no idea what the pressure is like. He says that
I'll be like, yo, watch your mouth.
he says that
I'm a goddamn parent.
he says that he can't be perfect and that Wilson expects him to be. Amy says that Harriet is trying to protect him, but he counters that by saying that, like Amy and Peter, she is trying to protect the idea of him.
He's not wrong.
Yeah.
You're right. I was about to say, what is more important, right? The actual welfare of this human being or what this human being represents, and whether or not one person has that responsibility to be the shining example of the credit to our race.
Well, look at Colin Kaepernick.
And
He's a perfect example.
Yeah.
Is it more important that he gets to play or him as the man or what he represents?
right. I would like to think that you people would think that it's what he represents.
Yeah, he was adopted.
Right.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. He
He
doesn't.
was adopted by
Yeah,
white
that's
family.
right. That's right. Yeah, I did remember that. That's right.
That's why his name's Colin
Yeah.
Kaepernick.
Yeah. Okay. Classic black name, Kaepernick.
Classic Eritrean name, Kaepernick.
Where's Kaepernick from? The Horn of Africa? Sure. Or like Poland.
But yeah, and that's something that I think we are. I think it feels like we're the only group of people that have this feeling. And I'm speaking from ignorance from other, nationalities and stuff. I'm not.
Oh, I thought you
Asian.
meant podcast. I was like, damn, just the three of us?
I'm not Asian. I'm not Hispanic or Latin. I don't know what that pressure feels like. But growing up, I was told, that people are always looking at you. And I was made to feel like I have to represent black people as a whole, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that happens.
And white people are not afforded that burden. They don't
No.
have to. They don't have to have it.
I think
don't.
Latino folks feel that burden. I would argue, just knowing some Latino folks like that I'm friends with, I would say that they deal with that too.
Okay. But it's just it's something that's just it's not fair. But do we stop that? Do we stop saying, "Hey, just be you, whatever you want to be," or do we guide our children as they must be shining examples of our race?
That's
Do you put that pressure on you too? Are you going to put?
I mean,
that
I'd
pressure
like
on
to
your
think.
son?
I mean, I'd like to think that I wouldn't be like, you got to be the best nigga in the world. Like. But at the same time, right? Like, I wouldn't say you have to be the best nigga in the world. I would say you have to be the best. And depending on what it is, like the best isn't. I don't know.
Because you don't know what he's going to like.
Right. You don't know what he's going to like. You don't know what he's going to dislike.
Right.
But I don't want to put pressure on him in being the best in something that he abhors. Right. But at the same time, right, like if he just really likes video games and wants to be the best at video games, like I kind of want you to be the best at a little more than that.
I mean, look at Sonic Fox.
I mean, yeah, look, I see your point, but at the same
he's
time,
allowed to be whatever. I mean, he's really good, right?
right? But that's a perfect example of not
Really gonna
telling
let your son wear a
of-
foxtail? He's gonna let him rock the foxtail?
I mean, if he's making that kind of money, he.
I mean,
can
you
wear
wear
whatever
it on your
the fuck he
forehead as
wants.
far as I'm concerned. You a
do whatever the
unicorn
fuck you
now,
want.
nigga. Go on up there.
But that's the perfect example of someone who is who he is. Judgment be damned.
Yeah,
and he is the best at what he does. And in that notion, I would want that for him, my son. But
What if it's something you don't agree with?
I mean, if it's something I don't agree with, I'm going to try my best to steer him away from that, right? Like
okay, not an illegal thing,
Right. I was about to say it's something you just don't agree with. But
let's say-
I don't
okay,
agree
now-
with him playing football, right? Like, I want him to be into sports.
Oh, I was going to go for a way more extreme example, but go ahead.
I want him to be into sports.
I was gonna be like, what if he was like the most popular porn star, right? I like to give examples that are ridiculous.
I mean, you know,
Go out there, son. Give it to him.
Don't get in a relationship with him. Like that, white women will lead you down the wrong path, son. Like they really will. You got to watch.
These are my 8 girlfriends.
But like, I want him to be into sports, right? Like, I think sports is healthy for a child.
I agree.
I don't want him to play football. Like, you can watch football all day. I don't want you to play it. And if he shows interest in it, I'm gonna do my best to try and steer him away from that shit.
How about this? You're not playing. You need parents' permission. No.
And yeah, and
Sorry, you're dead. You're a dick.
Right.
Guess
And-
what? Congratulations on all your brain function I gave you.
right.
But who knows how much safer it's going to be?
Nope.
He's
Nope.
one.
No.
Yeah.
18 years from now, you don't know how the fucking technology.
You know what? I'll give you that. If by the time Micah's son is ready to play football and he can control a robot who plays football from the sidelines, then cool. No. If you gotta run out there and get your head cracked, no, it's not safe. I don't care what the super tech helmets are. Are they body encompassing?
If you gotta put a helmet on,
You're not doing something.
if you gotta put a helmet on, there's risk of brain, damage.
No.
You know what I mean? Like,
No, it's okay. Do they got force fields?
you don't know that.
If they got force fields, then I support them. But like, nah, don't do that.
I mean, does your head bounce off the force field?
Like,
Like,
so you can't trust it. Can't trust it. Shit is dangerous. No, but look, I think there is. I do think there is the idea of putting pressure on your kids to be great and to do well. I think it is very specific, especially to black folks and and I won't even just say that minority folks. I think they do have that. I mean, knowing a fucking rainbow coalition of people that are my friends, like foreign-born kids or kids who have foreign-born parents, minorities, like their parents push them. They push them super fucking hard to do well, like really hard. So, I mean, my wife is the perfect example. Her dad was just like, hell, he came from fucking India, and he was just like, oh, you got an A, an A plus. Like, what the fuck? Like, but that's what makes her and her siblings they do very well for themselves because of that, right? But I also think there is a level of pushing your kid too far where you can break them, right? And I think easier said than done, right? Because you could be so lax that you're like, man, it's cool, and then your kid is like a fucking loser, by whatever your standards are. Or you can push your kid to the point where like they do really well, but the pressure gets too much and they break, and then they're just broken, and then they don't succeed anyway. And then it's just like all this wasted potential. So it's a hard road to run, especially as black people, because we're not just telling them to succeed in a vacuum. We're telling them to succeed amongst all of the oppression and hurdles that are put in front of them, and then to do well. Right? It's difficult.
It's a fucked up game that has to be played that shouldn't have to be played.
Right.
And Luce knows how to play it. Like, he's a fucking master at this shit.
Yeah. No, I mean, he is diabolical. He is.
I wouldn't mind if my son grew up to be Luce.
I would mind it because I know this nigga. I'd be like, yo, what is your fucking problem? Take it easy. I'm like, yo, come talk to your godfather for a second. Yo, what's wrong with you? Go sit down some goddamn way. Stop fucking Asian women in the woods. What's going on with you? He's like, yo, I just had to go. No, he's a super smart kid.
Yeah,
he just uses it for,
and he knows exactly.
He's a manipulative little prick.
Yeah, he knows how to play. He knows how America works. He knows how to play the game.
Does he?
And he to a point. He knows enough of how America works to be dangerous. Like little kids know how to use guns, right? They know enough of how to use a gun to be fucking dangerous with it.
That's true.
And that's
taught how to use a gun.
Right.
Yeah, he made that point. I was like, again, can we get a refund on this nigga? Like, good day. You think you have to pay money to adopt a child soldier? Because I feel like that should be free.
I mean,
I feel like it should be free.
Get a discount.
Yo,
yeah,
like,
50% off.
like, yo,
it's like an
a
open
little-
box
like-
item, right?
Got a little bit of wear and tear on it.
yo, this kid knows how to use an
refunds.
AK-40 as is,
Like
like
he's very proficient in using firearms.
knives.
Whether he uses it or not, yeah, that's debatable. You know,
Knows how to do a
what?
Kimura, a rear naked choke. Like fuck, this kid's 7. Yeah, he's not fucking around. Didn't Bill Burr have a whole thing about like he would adopt a fucking child soldier, but he would be terrified at first, and then just like, can you just teach me some shit? He was such an asshole. So yeah, I don't know. I think that whole thing is really just a really difficult road to run between giving them enough push to make sure they do well, coupled with enough wherewithal not to just mentally break them. Because I mean, I think every parent has to deal with that, but I think especially parents of color or parents of children of color. Because in their case, like that's just difficult. Like I actually know an older couple that my wife and I are friends with. They're white and they're like old school liberals, right? Like they were like hippies back in the fucking day. They couldn't have kids. They adopted this kid, probably like when they were maybe in like their 40s, and ironically, and he was a Latino kid, and he had a lot of issues, sort of adapting to. They just thought like, if we just raise him like any other white kid, like everything will be fine. Yeah. And like he's always kind of had issues, right? And it's just because they didn't understand. Like they didn't understand like there are cultural differences, and they adopted him as a small, like younger than 7. I think maybe like 2, 1 or 2. So like it's difficult.
Does he look like not white?
Yes.
Yeah.
He very much presents Latino.
Yeah. So
it's hard for him, and he's had like real identity issues, and they are the sweetest people you've ever met. Where you're just like, yeah, like. You would want kids to be raised by these people. Like, they're just really good people. They're very nice people. But it's just like, and they recognize it now as they're older. Mm-hmm. Like, they just couldn't, they just thought if we just raise him, like, as if he was white, it'd be fine. But it didn't work out like that. Mm-hmm. And he's a nice kid, but he's just a troubled kid.
Yeah.
Like, and he will be probably forever.
We see cut to a scene of Harriet tending to her sister Rose, who suffers from an unspecified mental illness.
And drug abuse, I think.
Yes. Right. The two have an encounter with Luce at the supermarket, at the local Giant, and, which unsettles Harriet, because Luce is...
Creep.
Yeah, he's just creepy, man.
Just showing up.
Creepy
like,
dude.
What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. He's like, I gotta go back to Latveria. See you later.
At a car wash fundraiser, Luce and Deshawn give a bit of background about Deshawn's situation, pointing out that Luce smoked weed many times with Deshawn, but Deshawn got popped by Harriet, and now his future is done, while Luce is okay. Deshawn goes on to state that, Luce is okay because they, meaning the powers that be, want him to succeed. Luce promises Deshawn that he will make things right. Anything to say about Deshawn's commentary and how they want Deshawn, who is very much a dark-skinned black dude, broad nose, big lips, dark skin, right? Whereas Luce is a little more
Obama-esque.
Yeah, he's a little more soap opera black man. And you know exactly what I mean.
I do. Because that's 100% accurate. That's really fucking funny. Wow, that is a perfect description. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, they made that nigga in the lab. I get it.
It's fucking Michael Ealy Jr.
Yeah. Yeah, this other dude is like, he's not acting. Like they were like, yo, we found a black dude in Virginia. Like, yo, you just want to talk for a second? They was like, I got it. Like, you need a script? Like, nah, I'm good. Like, I got cold weed? No problem. Got it. Terrence,
he's right.
Yeah,
he is right. He's 100% right.
Yeah, I mean, he basically calls him out for, he's like, look, I got busted and you didn't because they want you to succeed. They don't give a shit about me, which is accurate. I mean, I don't think it's. Do
you think there's a colorism thing involved?
Right. I was going to say I don't think it's a happenstance that they chose this actor either. I think it's very specific.
Yeah.
Look, a lot of America loves the idea of, of black people as a generality, but has a very small box or small window of what that blackness looks like, right? And I would argue some black people even have that, which drives me fucking crazy. Mm-hmm. But there is a reason that you've not seen somebody who looks like, I don't know, John Lewis running for president versus Barack Obama and Kamala Harris.
Or Cory Booker.
Right?
Yeah.
There is a reason. And by the way, that's not a negative against the three of them. That is a negative against how the rest of the country sees black people, right? It's like, I mean, Kamala Harris, she's a black woman. Like, it's cool that she's half. And, she feels more soap opera black, right? Like she, as far as like looks are concerned. And I think that's why she has been, lauded by a lot of people. And again, I'm not talking about her politics. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm just talking about how white America sees her. And I think sadly, some parts of black America, how they see blackness too. What is more acceptable to white people? What's more acceptable version of us, put up there. Like it's unfortunate, but it's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I would like to see somebody who's like, that looks like fucking Daryl. Or whatever the shit's name. Deshaun, excuse me. Deshaun, of course.
Again, everything about this feels deliberate, from his name,
his name, the way he looks, the way he
looks, the way he speaks.
Absolutely,
it all feels deliberate. And wow, who'd have thought this movie would be way smarter than the movie we were going to do if we lived in San Francisco?
That movie's not going to get a last chance from me. Man. Anyway,
so Luce promises to Deshaun that he will make things right. And then you're like, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah.
This deadly diabolical motherfucker. Well,
and then as Luce walks off, he just pulls up his green hood and just rocket boosts his way out of there.
We cut to Harriet. Harriet finds Rose trashing her house and takes her sister back to see the doctor. Wikipedia has doctor in quotes. I don't know why.
I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, it would seem like a legitimate like mental clinic or something.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Amy, Luce's mom, Amy, meets with Stephanie Kim at a coffee shop. Stephanie brings up that she and Luce used to date, something that Amy never knew because she's not a good parent.
Yeah, I'm not gonna not know.
I'm not gonna not know who you're in a relationship with. Like,
yeah, that's a little weird.
I like to think that I would be a little more involved.
Yeah, and the only way I could see it is like not in my household, but I could see it like if your kid turned out to be gay or something like that, and they were trying to hide that from you. Yeah. Like I could see that, but again, in my household, that seems highly unlikely.
Yeah.
Be like, yo, we bought you a book called The Gay BCs, man. Like, you can just tell us. I don't give a shit. I don't care. Oh, fuck. And point me in the direction of somebody talking shit. I'll fuck a kid up. I'll beat their ass.
Stephanie uncomfortably describes being sexually assaulted at the party by several boys, but denies Luce's involvement. Yo, this is fucked up, yo. She was like...
This whole scene...
She was like...
It's very uncomfortable.
She was like, yeah, I was drunk, and we played the Santa Claus game. I was like, what the fuck is that? She was like, yeah, where women get passed around and put on the laps of dudes, and they rate you 1 to 3. Ho, 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 hoes. I'm like, what the fuck?
By the way, what's actually hilarious, not hilarious, but because right. Hey, you know what's really funny about this sexual assault scene? No, but what was funny is the response where she's like, the Santa Claus game, and she explains it, and Naomi Watts is like, the fuck? And she stops and she goes, there are way worse games. Like, don't worry.
You're right.
Like, it could get way worse. Like
on a scale from 1 to 3, this is a hoe.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
As far as
like, don't worry, it's fine.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, is this how y'all doing in Virginia? Y'all playing the Santa Claus game down there? Okay.
Amy and Peter talk about Luce. I forgot what this conversation is about.
Let me see. Is this
What?
Right before Luce is
Oh, where they're drinking wine or what have you?
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, he basically, if I recall, this whole scene was just like, look, I'm skeptical of this shit. Like, I am, but
Tim Roth's character was like, yo, something don't smell right,
Yes.
and Amy is like, yeah, but that's our son though.
Yeah, and that's where they kind of get into that conversation where he's like, look, this is really hard. Basically, like, yo, this has been a massive toll on me.
right?
Yeah.
Right? And he was like, you know what? Fuck this. And she was like, fuck you. And then he went in the shower and then they fucked each other like it was like they hadn't seen each other in 25 years.
Right.
He was putting in work in that bedroom.
Oh, Jesus Christ, nigga, relax.
I thought he was slamming her head against the head. It's like,
Yeah, I was unexpected.
I was like, all right, Tim Roth, take it easy, man. Take it easy. He was
Yeah,
like, look,
you're not your character from Incredible Hulk, man. Like, chill the fuck out.
maybe he is. He was like, I got a little extra boost. Ready to go. His accent came out then. He was like, all right, laddie. Just relax.
We see Luce practicing a speech, and he's talking about how when he was adopted, Peter and Amy couldn't pronounce his name, so they decided that they should change it to something that they could pronounce.
Yeah, Luce.
Which is, I think, the movie's like not so subtle way of saying, hey, this boy has been like they couldn't be bothered with learning how to pronounce his name. So they decided, all right, well, let's just try and conform him to something that he is not. This is the nature thing really taking its hold, right? Like,
yeah, I guess I saw it as it's about as top line of a move to sort of push him into American culture as it gets. Like, your name is everything to you, right? Like, it is. And also, he's 7. Right.
He knows it.
He knows it. Like, yo,
Right.
that is my
identity.
Right. Like, I'm not just going to start calling you Calvin all of a sudden and just be like, live with it. Like, that's crazy.
Right. Like, your name is tied to your identity. It's tied to your, culture.
Your family.
Usually.
Yeah,
Right.
your culture is a big part of it. Absolutely.
Right. And this is them. By changing his name, they did that with slaves, right? Like,
that's correct.
I don't know how to pronounce this fucking mumbly jumbly hooboo fucking jungle name. I'm gonna call you Toby.
Right.
And you don't. I don't know, man. I felt uncomfortable. Like, I felt for Luce there, right?
Right. I agree. But I also can understand. I can understand where his parents are coming from, because it's like because he even says it in the speech of like, you get to be reborn,
right?
And
how
everything
he's
else.
quote unquote proud, and I put the quotations around proud. How he's proud to be an American because it gave him a chance to redefine himself. I mean, that could be in America we can choose to be who we want to be, but we know that that's fucking bullshit.
Yes, he's black, 100%.
Right. You can't choose to be. You're not afforded that luxury of being able to choose who you want to be. You are who society, for the most part, you are who society deems you as.
That is correct. It's like if
it's fucked up, but
and I'm sure some people would say, well, that's not true. But I would argue, here's an easy example. Barack Obama is half black, half white. Equally 50-50. If Barack Obama came out and was like, I'm Barry Obama, I'm a white guy, America would be like, shut the fuck up, nigga, you're black.
right.
Because he does not present like a white guy. And he has equally as much claim to being white, actually probably more so because he was raised by more white people through his life, his grandparents and everything else. He has more claim to being raised as white than he does black. But he looks in the mirror and is like, yo, I'm black. So when white people say, no, you don't get to say that, right? Like, it's a weird thing because, like, he can choose that, but at the same time, it's only because it really kind of jives with the vast majority of society says.
Right.
Right. That's why transracialism doesn't work. That's why it doesn't fucking work. I'm a white guy. No, you're not. You're not. Shut the fuck up. You're not. And I don't see that as the same as, by the way, as transgender at all, because there's two wildly different things. But yeah, like that's why it doesn't work, because it's not afforded to, the vast swath of the world. Right. It doesn't work.
Luce later learns from Stephanie via text that Amy visited her.
You just texting your kids' friends? That seems that doesn't seem cool to me.
No.
I don't like that.
Oh yeah, when she Facebook stalked her.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah. Luckily, my parents don't know how to use Facebook. They really don't. Like my 91-year-old great grandmother knows how to use Facebook, and my mother doesn't. It's funny to me.
She was like, "I'm good. Don't worry about it. Look, if you ain't on there now, don't get on it. It sucks.
Yeah, it does. Jesus,
I'm trying to get off.
The family I have on it now, like don't. If you related to me and you listening to the show, just turn it off. Because you're not gonna like what you hear from me. Because I don't talk to them a lot. You know what I mean? But don't ask me no questions about this. Subscribe, but then don't listen to it. Download it and then immediately delete it if you're related to me.
That helps the numbers. Delete it. That goes for everybody. Yeah. So who knows?
The next day, Rosemary arrives at school and has a bit of a breakdown.
A little bit.
Wow. Look, I understand that this character is mentally unstable, and
I'm shaking my head because I already know what's coming.
I really do feel for this character, but this actress. She got a body that won't quit.
I knew it was coming. The second I was watching the movie, I was like, she has a nice figure.
She really does. She was like, look, this movie calls for what? All right, let me hop on this Peloton and
get it together. God damn. Yeah.
She was in When They See Us. Wasn't she?
Yeah, wasn't she
one of the
mom?
moms. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
all
I
right.
saw.
I see you.
When I see you.
We're scumbags. We're just scumbags. Because the second I was watching, I was like, well, I already know where this commentary is going. I've known these niggas way too long to think that they would have any semblance of restraint. during this
I had it until he said something.
Did you join in?
No, I didn't. I just said she was in When They See Us.
Uh-huh.
Did you enjoy the scene?
I felt bad for her.
Did you enjoy looking at the scene?
I felt bad for her. I don't know what the fuck
Did you rewind it?
No, actually, no bullshit. I did not rewind it. I didn't. Not for real.
All right. Are you watching it now?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Like,
For research. Yeah, right.
Where we are.
Watch it. Yeah, right.
What the fuck to tell you?
Yeah. I got it.
Damn.
I got it. What's what was that? The fucking that SNL thing? Was it the guy who wrote Fire and Fury? And he's like, "Is this book true?" He's like, "Did you read it?" Like, yes, I read it. Like, did you like it? Yeah, then it's true. It's true.
That shit was funny.
She has a breakdown in front of Harriet.
Luce, it's pretty horrible, actually.
Yeah, it is. Luce and
taser.
Yeah, that was fucked up. Even the Luce's mom, when she watched, she was like, "Come on, you." Goddamn.
She has a breakdown in front of Harriet, Luce, and the other students before being tased and apprehended by the police. Harriet didn't immediately follow them. I don't know why.
I feel like she was a little bit in shock, maybe. I don't
maybe.
know.
I'll give her the benefit of the doubt and say that she was in shock. Luce shows a video of the incident to Amy and Peter, which disturbed them.
Like, everyone leaves and Luce is in the hallway. And they kind of confront each other. Well, not necessarily confront each other, but she's like, something ain't right.
Yeah.
Why is this nigga standing there?
Like, yeah, I see you. I'm studying. Harriet's home is vandalized that night, and Stephanie arrives shortly after to tell her that Luce sexually assaulted her. Harriet informs Principal Towson, or as my uncle, who is not from around here, says Towson.
Towson. I mean, in fairness, that's how it's spelled.
Yeah.
Towson.
And
where?
and Harriet informs Principal Towson, and a meeting is organized with them, Harriet and Towson, Luce, and his parents. Anything to say? Okay, I'll move on.
Yeah, like about the actual meeting, you're saying, or
No. Just
that they're going to do
up until.
Not really.
Luce and Amy discuss the upcoming meeting and get into and they basically talk about all of the events that have happened in the movie so far. Mm-hmm. Luce expresses how it feels as if he's fighting a losing battle. He feels like he only gets to be a saint or a monster. Amy tells him that they have always accepted him for whoever he is, and Luce doesn't believe her and questions what if she's a part of the problem that he needs protecting from.
Yeah, that was I have to admit, that was a really good dialogue. I actually really enjoyed this scene quite a lot.
Yes.
Like, you already changed my name.
Right.
So did you really accept me?
Let me lose. Right, exactly.
Right.
I was a child. Like, you can't accept that.
Yeah,
I don't accept it.
Right. I don't accept that.
I accept the fact that you are a trained killer.
Yeah. Like, no, I accepted you from day one. No, I didn't. No. Go to therapy. Fucking get out of here.
So here we are at the meeting. I'll get to the ace in the hole that Harriet has a little bit later, but at the meeting, Luce quickly disproves Harriet's accusations of vandalism with video evidence.
I don't want to get anyone else in trouble. This is embarrassing for me.
I love it.
I don't want to get anyone else in trouble. Here's the video.
I love it.
Yeah. Can I stream this to the fucking projector? I don't want to get anyone else in trouble. No, go. That's fine. Hey, why is this in HD, my nigga? This guy's a liar.
You're in the video. How is it on your phone?
He's like, yo, 420. You're.
Yeah, he has a video alibi that with a timestamp and everything. It was like, nope, 20 hours ago.
Right.
We were getting blazed. Is that what you weed people say?
Yes, people were getting blazed.
I do marijuana. I don't smoke it, so I don't know what the terminology is.
You just sniff the leaf, which is, I mean, you're basically a heroin addict.
Harriet is like, yo, this is bullshit, yo. Like, somebody could have fucking deepfaked this shit or something, yo. Like, this is fucking nonsense.
Again, her blackness is on full display. She's like, what the fuck is going on?
Right.
And my parents are like, yeah, this is great, 420.
Right. This is like,
what the fuck?
And Harriet is like, all right, I got something for your ass, nigga. And she gets up and she goes out to pull her ace in the hole, right? And her ace, her trump card, if you will, is that she had Stephanie waiting to confront Luce about the sexual allegations, right? But when she goes to get Stephanie and be like, bam, here's my surprise witness, Stephanie is gone.
Surprise, bitch, I'm out.
And Harriet comes back and she's like, you little nigga.
Like, you set this
she deduces the fact that Luce put Stephanie up to this, and confronts him about it at the meeting. And Harriet's harsh questioning quickly makes Amy and Peter turn on him. Now, look, they throwing them white capes like, oh, well, come on now. You are not going to talk about our black son like this.
Yeah, look.
Principal Towson comes in and is like, this is my thoroughbred. You are not going to put him in a situation that will cost this school.
One of the things about this scene that drove me crazy, I literally yelled at the screen. When the teacher says, I gave the fireworks to Amy, to the mom. And the mom turned around and was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I was like, you fucking bitch! Jesus Christ! You horrible, horrible bitch. What are you doing? Even Tim Roth was like, this is what we do.
Like,
You know what? You're right. Like, I'd have gotten in the car and been like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? You can't just, yo, she straight up lied. Which was that moment where Luce was like, got him. Even got your fucking white liberal
Like, I
parents
got these white
to
people
lie.
wrapped around my motherfucking face.
Yeah, he does.
that's funny.
Go ahead, Doom. I see.
When Harriet brings up, like you said, when Harriet brings up the fireworks to Amy,
So mad.
Amy lies and says she knows nothing about the fireworks, even telling Towson that Harriet deliberately went after her or him. Towson accepts this, and the meeting ends. At night, later that night, we cut to a scene of fireworks exploding inside of Harriet's desk, causing a fire. The next day, Harriet is in a meeting with Towson and is told that she is fired due to heavy suspicion against her. What you think I lit the motherfucker by myself? Like, huh? You think I damaged my own shit? What?
What's
I'm giving everything to this school.
what's
And all of a sudden, this little nigga comes in. this fucking splinter cell from Eritrea comes in, and all of a sudden, shit just starts going wrong. But I'm the problem. Yeah, but he runs fast.
Yeah.
And he's
very
well-spoken.
he's very articulate.
Very well spoken. He runs fast. He's the valedictorian.
There's a little bit of a Colin Powell situation going on.
Great school.
That shit drove, when she lied for him, I was like, yo, you are the worst type of parent. You are the worst.
After learning of the incident, Amy from Peter, Amy runs over to find that the fireworks, where she put them, only to discover in horror that they are gone. Peter comes up.
I can't believe he
like,
found them hidden behind the most obvious of places.
Right.
Well,
I can't believe
hit him behind like a panel in the.
He already knew what that was.
Yeah, he ain't.
Yeah, because apparently, that's where she hid. That's where she hid Christmas gifts. So he was like, "Where's that dumb woman hide everything?" Oh, look, it's right here. No shit.
Amy, Peter believes that Luce was involved because he's like, look, I mean, if it walks like a duck and it talks like a duck, it's fucking, it's a Donald fucking duck. Like, what the fuck is going on here? And Amy goes on this, she uses the power of white woman tears to break this man who knows that something is wrong. And she's just like, no, because we have to be the good liberal white people. We have to stand up. And dude is like, not everything is a political statement, right? Like, yeah, I love our son. But if he's doing something stupid, if he's doing something that's fucking wrong, we need to fucking nip this shit in the bud. It's like, no, I believe our son because of everything that he's gone through and we've gone through. Are we going to be those people who don't believe black people when they say that something bad has happened to them?
I'd be like, yes, I am one of those people in this exact moment. Sorry.
It's like, I need to know right now because I'm a Sith and only Sith deal in absolutes. I need to know right now, are you with us or are you against us? Like, goddamn, did you frame it? Why'd you have to frame it that way? Are you with the family or are you with some black bitch? You want to fuck that black bitch, don't you?
That was like, if that statement had been made, I'd be like, yeah, that makes about sense. Like, not really, but okay. I just don't agree with this. You're an Uncle Tom. I'm white. I'm sorry. I'm more of an Uncle Tim, but it's fine. Luce manipulates them so well to the point that they are fighting each other. They are lying for him. And they're almost advocating for this black woman to lose her job.
Right.
And ends up losing her job. And this thing was lying the whole time. The whole time. He schemed the whole fucking thing.
Love it. Luce.
Your son is going to grow up to be a sociopath.
I got to try and stay one step ahead of him. It'll be a game.
Yeah.
It'll be a game.
Oh, great.
Of who can be the most
diabolical.
Yeah.
I'm not coming over to your house.
I gotta keep my skills up. Luce confronts Harriet at her house because
if he ever wears a cardigan, over a flannel, I'm leaving. Like, hi, I'm like, good
we
day.
would never wear cardigans. We don't like cardigans.
Good.
Nobody in my family likes cardigans.
Yeah, if your son wear a cardigan, I'm gonna fight him.
No, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna fight him.
Take that shit off. Like, ain't no son of mine gonna wear a cardigan. Oh, you can be gay. That's fine. Don't wear a fucking
Yeah, you
cardigan.
can do whatever you want. Don't wear a fucking cardigan.
What is wrong with you?
Jesus Christ.
I didn't raise you to wear a goddamn cardigan in this.
Sweaterist.
I'm a sweaterist. Cardigans are dumb.
This nigga has the fucking gall to come over to this woman's house
With flowers.
with flowers.
Yeah.
Yo, come on, yo.
If I was Octavia Spencer, I would have been like, yo, I got the shotgun.
See, this is where your youth and inexperience come in, Luce. Like, you gotta know when you get away with a crime, you gotta know not to fucking come back to the scene of it, right? Like, because that's what criminals do. Like, they want to see, they're proud of their work and they want to see it, right?
That's how
Like,
serial killers get caught.
right, exactly.
Just kill and move on.
Exactly. I could easily be a serial killer by killing homeless people and no one would know it, right? Because I would never go back to the scene of the crime.
I'm sorry, Patrick Bateman. What?
But that's where you go wrong, right? Like,
I could easily be. Oh, there we go.
so
Slide out of frame. Not going to be on a sports highlight show.
this dude goes to her house. He comes forward to her with how she ruined Deshaun's athletic career and how she put Luce on a pedestal. And Harriet defends her position, but Luce thinks all she did was stereotype them.
That's also true.
Yeah. This conversation makes the movie, right? Like, this conversation is the point of the movie. She talks about how it is not me who stereotypes you. It is society. Society sees you in a certain way. And this is why we push, when we see people like you, this is why we push people. We push people like you to be the very best. We don't have time. Essentially, what I think she's saying is we don't have time to work on what she might perceive as lost causes in Deshaun. I
don't disagree with you.
Right.
I hate to say this, but I see her point. I don't think you should just dismiss kids, right? Like, I don't think you just be like, toss Deshaun by the fucking wayside.
Call the cops on that now.
Right, like that is not the same as being like pushing one kid, like, okay, we got one, let's throw a little bit more behind him. You know, we're trying to help everybody, but we got to throw a little oomph behind him. That's okay. I get that. Mm-hmm. You don't burn the other kids. Like, that's where it's not okay. But to pretend like, if you are a teacher or you are a parent or something like that, and you see a kid who's got some fucking potential to make it out, like, and before people comment and say that's not right and everything else, let us not pretend that people don't do that with sports all the fucking time.
Mm. Yeah, you don't make it to the NBA, the NFL, if they don't see that talent and they push that.
They put like, hey, everybody else is right here, and then you have LeBron right here, and they throw everything they can behind that kid, because if that kid makes it out, he can help other people. Yeah. We do it all the time in this community. Like let us not, because I don't want people feigning a bunch of bullshit. Like, don't do that, because it is absolutely true. And I can understand not seeing that in academics, because we don't talk about it as much, right? Mm-hmm. You know, it's like somebody's you just meet a black doctor, but you don't hear all that background. Sports is an easy thing because it's more public, right, to the entire world. But we do it with sports all the fucking time. Mm-hmm. And that's why when you see black, I came from quote unquote nothing, and I became a doctor or a lawyer or something like that. That's because somebody saw something in you and they fucking pushed you harder. They just did. Mm-hmm. But you can't, the goal shouldn't be to just do that and burn everybody else who isn't on that level. You got to help them too. So I understand Luce's perspective of, like, you just burned Deshaun. You didn't give a shit about him. Mm-hmm. And that seems kind of true.
This conversation is very good, because it's kind of like the whole age thing that it is that's in society right now, right? With younger people, like everybody gets on millennials, like, nah, like we do it because we're fucking old and we don't want to be old. You know what I mean? But millennials have it very, very hard.
You know,
And the people and the greatest generation had it harder, right? But it's the in between generations that are doing all this fucking talking. The baby boomers, the Gen X's, the Gen Y's. Like, nah, we are the benefactors of what the greatest generation did, and
not so much us though.
Look, the baby boomers are direct,
yes,
you know. Yeah. But if you are lucky enough to have a boomer as a parent who didn't fucking
that made it, then you again are benefiting from it. But most people didn't, right? And that's where that's where millennials are at now. They have to deal with all that fallout, right? Right.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
I forgot what I was about to say. No. What I was saying, like you two were born in 80, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like there's no real concise
cut off
as to when millennials. Is like it could be like 81 or
right.
83.
I've seen 79.
Yeah, so that's like it's
all right, whatever.
But
how dare you?
Like my mom is not considered. I guess she would be. She was born in 65, so she would be like Gen X. What is that? She's not a boomer.
No, she's not a boomer.
She'd probably be Gen X.
Yeah.
She'd be an old Gen Xer.
Yeah, like an old. Yeah, baby boomers have fucked everything up.
Well, they
literally have fucked everything up.
Well, they had so much. Yeah, they've had so much, and they just don't give a shit about anybody.
They don't care. Yeah, they don't care about anybody else. So I understand, but like you said, as far as age goes, she's like this teacher isn't a boomer. She's like a Gen Xer.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure she had to fight to become a teacher. And she's very smart. Mm-hmm. She's one of the best teachers in the school, which she got fired from. But this kid is a child. Like he's a millennial, but he's not from here.
Right. So and that has a lot to do with it too, man.
It's really weird. Like he's essentially like the child. He would be like a child of immigrant parents, but like they're not immigrant parents.
Right.
They're white. They're like white liberals,
mm-hmm.
and they had the money to send them to the therapy to basically reprogram him. And I don't know if they pushed him or he was just like, look, I'm going to recreate myself, because he basically erased his past when they renamed him.
Right.
So I don't know if he sees it as a millennial. I don't know. He doesn't see the world as a millennial. He sees something. He sees it very different, and he doesn't want to. He's really good at what he does, but I don't think he says it himself. He's like, you put me on this pedestal. I didn't want this.
Yeah.
It's like
he constantly says that.
He's like, I didn't fucking want any of this. I'm just doing what I think y'all want me to do.
Yeah.
But
he doesn't. He never wants to be seen as,
as the model minority,
right.
or whatever you want to call it. He just wants to be him, but who is the real Luce?
The diabolical.
It's like the one by the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Like he's a sociopath.
Love it. Harriet orders Luce out of her house. Outside, Amy follows Luce to a hideout where he meets Stephanie, and he has sex with her. Stephanie sees Amy outside the window, but
that was fucking weird.
React. That's just weird like, for no reason. Like,
she was just like, like, ugh.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
Stop watching your son bang. It's gross.
Yeah, it's weird. And don't look at your boyfriend's mom while he's railing you out. Like it just does. Everything about that was just weird. I don't know what. That's the one weird thing about this movie.
I didn't get that scene.
I don't get that.
Look, whether I got it or not, I don't like that. It doesn't really matter whether I got
this fucking filthy family shit out of
here. Yeah. This is some shit all those white dudes really love on Pornhub. Like, just knock it off.
Later, Luce gives a speech at. Luce returns and reconciles with Amy. Basically, it's his victory speech, but he manipulates it and starts crying to make her feel like she's the one that's
right.
like,
And they bring up this story about a fish that they brought him
yeah,
when he was a kid.
yeah.
And he pulls out the goldfish. Like, remember the fish that I threw down the tail?
He fucking yeeted that thing.
Yeah, to a wall or some shit like that.
I wanted to see it fly. You little asshole. What are you doing?
You know damn well fish can't fly, nigga.
Like, we don't have fish. When I was a child soldier, bitch. Knock it off. We never got to go to the ocean.
Later, Luce gives a speech at school where he thanks Amy and Peter for raising him.
Yes, it's the speech he's been practicing throughout the movie.
Yeah, like you changed they changed my name and what do you think? Am I reading too much into this? Where he's basically thanking them for because I would never be this powerful in Eritrea, but you brought me here, and I'm like Loki. I'm like a god. I'm the god of mischief in here, because you people are too fucking dumb. I manipulated all of you.
Yeah, like there's an aspect of that I'm starting to wonder if that was they keep using the term reprogram.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if, again, like you were saying earlier, everything seems to be very deliberate, right? Mm-hmm. His name being changed is obviously the starkest example of him, being sort of pulled out of his current situation and dumped into America. But the term reprogram, almost like you're reprogrammed from what you were supposed to be into what we think you are supposed to be.
Right. The nature versus nurture, right? Like your nature is one thing because you are a child soldier, and we gotta fucking reprogram that.
But that's not even nature. That's you were nurtured that way. I mean, you're not born.
Exactly. You're not born into that. Right. But which is I don't know. I don't know. What I do know is that this movie is very good. And last scene is Luce going out for a jog, as he is wont to do, and his face slowly starts to contort into fucking rage. Right now, what do you think this is? Is it because he just and it's preceded by this speech, right, where he's just like, "Hey, thank you all for changing my name and changing my identity, and I have to play this game now," right? And when he runs, it seems like this is where his alone time. This is where he gets to be who he is, right? Because he doesn't really know what he's doing. He's just kind of running and doesn't know where he's going. And and he starts, I guess, to think about that, and it just fucking pisses him off, right?
I think that it's supposed to show. Let me rephrase that. What I think it shows is I think that the reprogramming didn't really work.
And that's the thing. Does it ever?
Right. I don't think
that's the argument on nature versus nurture, right? Like, if you are predisposed to being something, and that's all you're going to be, versus no, we can rebuild him. We have the technology, right?
Lose the arm. But yeah, it's I think like the way his like facial structure and everything, he just looks angrier. He looks meaner. Like,
it's the meanest you've ever seen him. You've never seen him scowl.
He never got angry.
Right.
Like, he was like super emotional. Like I said, he looked like he was always crying and everything. But like this was the very first time where he was just like mad.
Yeah, and I think
even when he was interacting with Harriet.
Right.
Throughout the movie.
Because
she would piss me off.
Yeah, you can imagine. But I think it's to show that it didn't really work, and that is still always going to be a part of him. And he can be as smart and as articulate and as well spoken as white people in America want him to be. Fundamentally, there is a part of him that has not and will not change.
Right. And Luce, they changed his name to Luce, and Luce means light.
Yeah, Luce means light in Italian.
So he still has that darkness in him, regardless of how much you go to therapy to change it or to get rid of it. it's still there.
To quote the great Rupert Thorne, the brighter the picture, the darker the negative.
Is that who that quote is from?
Yeah.
You fucking dork. Jesus.
I got that quote from a cartoon.
Yes. It's like a Batman the Animated Series. You nerd. But it's a good quote because I think it's very true here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. This movie really surprised me.
It did, man. I was not expecting this to be. I thought this was going to be like Fear, that Mark Wahlberg movie. You know what I mean? Like,
that is insulting.
I thought this was just going to be like, oh, hey, this is the perfect guy, but he's really a fucking psychopath, right?
Right.
No, this movie was very good, and while I was watching it, I was like, oh wow, this is going to generate a whole lot of conversation that I didn't think we would. This next movie, which is critically acclaimed, must be amazing. And it wasn't. So we're not doing it.
No. We're just going to do Soul Plane instead.
No, don't say that because people will take you for your word.
Yeah, I'm a liar. We're never doing that. Which is ironic, I guess. All right, that is it for episode 164 for Luce. I think it was a really good conversation, actually.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Check it out. It's I wouldn't even say underrated. It's not rated at all.
Yeah, I don't know anyone who saw
knows
it.
about this fucking movie.
I think it's gotten good reviews from critics.
Probably.
I think.
Well, that's good.
Well, so did the other one. That doesn't mean anything.
Right. That don't mean
Yeah, don't mean nothing.
Goddamn thing.
So, again, thank you to Jordan who suggested the movie as well. And Micah, you also suggested it, so that's great. So, those submissions do work. Puts movies on our radar that maybe we hadn't thought about. So, again, blackonblackcinema.com/submit to submit those suggestions. Again, go to blackonblackcinema.com. Check to make sure we haven't done the movie. Just it's helpful. Also, make sure you leave 5-star reviews. Those are really helpful to us. We appreciate that. We'll get back to reading those during our preview episodes. Check out the preview episodes. And if you're just listening to this, you can also watch this in HD on youtube.com/blackonblackcinema. And if you are watching it, you can also listen to each episode and preview episode. Just search for Black on Black Cinema wherever you get podcasts. And we will see you guys next time.
See ya.
Take it easy.
Bye. You're watching the Black on Black Cinema YouTube channel. Make sure you check out our full reviews of black movies, past and present. And every other week, we do a preview episode where we talk about a random topic that affects the black community.